Okay, my name is Joshua Mitchell. For those who don't know me, I am Native American, and my tribe is Navajo, Navajo Diné. And right now, I want to introduce myself in my own native tongue. My family would be laughing at me right now. Yat she Joshua Mitchell, yene she. Nadin she nahai. Deben netzar keheshne. Shedone shema nakai dene Kogesh ba nachin nakai de da sheche doterchini da shanala. And what I said was, my name is Joshua Mitchell. I'm 20 years old. I live here in Denver, Colorado, and how I said it in my language is Big Sheep. And my clans are, my mother's side is Hispanic Mexican, and my father is Zia Pueblo clan. And my mother's grandparents' clan is Nakai, and my other side of the family's grandparents is Bitterwater people, and that's my clan that I am a part of. My family, they're from Winter Rock, Arizona, and recently, about 2 months ago, I went over and I went to go visit on the reservation. And I even asked my aunt, I was like, Auntie Jenny, why do we live on the reservation? And she began telling me our creation story, and that's what my speech is about. Navajo Diné creation. Oh, I'm sorry. Should be going.
You have the wrong one.
Thank you. Okay. Navajo Nation creation story. And when she was telling me that story, I was like, why is she telling me a little story about when I heard when I was little? And at that time, I really didn't pay attention to the story. And what this story is, it's about our culture, our customs, and everything that we do today. It's not only just a folk tale, it's our history and our spiritual story. When I first heard about the story, I was just amazed and wowed. Just like, that's where my people come from. It gave me pride, it made me feel good, And this is how the creation story is. There are 4 worlds: a black world, a white world, a blue world, and a yellow world. And these names I will probably slaughter. And it's it's sore, I'm sorry. I don't want to say all of them because I'll slaughter it. But anyways, it's sort of about 4 worlds. Black, white, and we all come from the glittering world, is the first world. Okay, the Diné people came from the first woman and the first man. The first man came from the black world, and he came from the east, from when the white and the yellow clouds met. Yes. And the woman, she came from the west, and she met from the yellow and blue clouds, and they met, and that's how we came. And that would be the Navajos' Adam and Eve story. And I also put here, we have a Navajo women are weaving traditional clothing. She was called the Spider Woman, and she was the one who taught our people to weave and do this certain styles that we do. Once in the glittering world, the first people who came was to build the sweat house, and this was when we sang our song, Blessing. And so the people came together and they got in a hogan, and they asked, who made that hogan was God. And God is Hashit. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, and that's where all the people, they got together and they started forming the whole world. They started creating a whole world, doing trees, everything. And they were deciding where do we put our homeland. And our homeland was between the 4 sacred stones, and they're the boundaries. The 4 sacred stones, they are portrayed as the background you see. This is our Navajo Nation flag.
The 4 stones are right here: black, white, blue, and yellow. And what these stones are the actual mountains. San Francisco Peaks, Mount Blanca, Mount Taylor, and Mount Hesperus. And all these have different stones in which, each mountain has. This one has the abalone stone, white shell, turquoise, and black jet. As you see on my neck, I have turquoise. After setting the mountains and everything, while the people that were making it, they're called the deities, the holy people. When they're making everything, they're putting everything to set, the trickster, the coyote, he was so anxious and nervous to them, he wanted it so bad that he wanted to see the stars. So he grew impatient, and then he grabbed the blanket of all the stars and he threw them all up in the air. And that's how the stars were made. Okay. And as the people continued making the earth, trees, rain, everything, monsters began to terrorize the land. And they started killing the new people of earth, the holy people. And the woman, she is called the changing woman. She gave birth to 2 twins that are heroes in the Navajo Nation. And their names are Monster Slayer and the one born in water. And those are the twins. The twins had grown up and they went to go see their father, the sun. And he blessed them with weapons that they could kill these monsters, these giant monsters with. And when I was in Arizona on the reservation, we were driving through New Mexico and I saw this mountain and there was just nothing but black rock. And I was just like, what is this? What is that? And she even told me, she was like, that's the blood where Monster Killer killed the monster. This is where their fighting grounds were. So where we're driving through, you actually get to see the blood of all the monsters, and it just covers the land, just dark and black rock. With all the monsters dead, the changing woman, she lived in the Western Sea with the islands. And she would, she was in the islands and she lived in the rock crystal. Her whole house was rock crystal. And her husband, the sun, she would go on the west side because if you see the sun goes down on the west side. So they meet each other at that point. That's when they are together. And their home was made out of stones, abalone, white shell, turquoise, all the 4 sacred stones. I'm sorry, not just the crystal. And soon as they lived together, and this map shows a perfect example of where the reservation is, and it's between all 4 mountains. Anyways, as the woman was living by herself in her island, she became bored and lonely. So she started creating people, us, the clans, the native people. And she made all 4 clans from her skin. I don't think I made a slide. But she made all 4 clans of her skin. One was a piece of her skin and flour and corn. And that was called the Nakai clan. And the Bitterwater people, which was Ian, were made out of water and a piece of her skin. And this whole story is just not just a folktale. It's more than just that. It's where my people come from, where our customs, our beliefs, our gods, and the whole world of creation. And that how, in my world, in my eyes, in my family, that's how mine was born.
Okay, what does our distinguished panel of experts have to say about Mr. Mitchell?
I thought it was an interesting story. Never heard it before.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that I can't speak my native tongue. It's one of the top 3 hardest languages in the world. Like the lettering and the words. Sorry if I'm shaking, but there are commas and semicolons above each word. If a word or if one has above the letter, you have to explain it without your mouth. You have to breathe through your mouth. But if it's below, you have to breathe through your nose. So that's why I was like,
Nadin eh, like a mouth, and then she out your nose. So
You know, I
Really
can,
hard
I
language.
can add a little something to that. The Navajo language is so difficult. They did, in World War II, they recruited the Navajo as radio talkers, and the Japanese and the Germans could not break their code. They could break anything else. The Germans had some of the finest cryptologists in the world, but when they would talk back and forth in Navajo, it just totally baffled them. They could not break that code. And it was great because they'd put a Navajo with each unit and they could talk their heads off and say, that, you know, just speak their normal language, and the Nazis and the Japanese armies couldn't break it. So kudos for that.
It might have been good to start with, you know, like in your introduction, because this